Welcome, my loves, to January 2020. I am Johanna Burkhardt, spiritual teacher and healer, if you are new to me. And this is for Libra for January 2020. Yes, I am I'm going to try out reading, doing full energy reads for each zodiac sign instead of just doing them by element. So I'm super excited to bring that to you today. I tuned into you guys before I hit record, and I could feel this energy activating in my solar plexus and in my heart. It's almost like this chamber between the two, and it was really drawing up and connecting in with the crown and opening up. So I feel like there's been a bit of a journey that's been happening for you. So for some of you, you're either really itching and feeling that itch to move, to escape, to go away, to recreate, to reinvent yourself. And for some of you, you've already hit that space. Like you've been in this journey for a little while now, right? And you're finally starting to really get settled in this new space and this new energy, or even a new location even. For some of you, I feel. So it really starts out the beginning of January, really feeling this journey that you've been on, almost like in a space of reflection, like, man, I've this journey, man, it's been a lot, but there's something else brewing. And that's what that solar plexus heart energy is really activating for me. It's almost like a rebirthing of not just, gosh, I feel like this is on so many levels. So for some of you, you're going to experience this as a rebirthing in a relationship. I actually feel like this is a big portion of those who are going to be tuning in. So this can be relationship to self or relationship with another person. And I feel like there's a lot of attachment here. There's a lot of investment. You've invested a lot of time. You've invested a lot of energy, which usually is the case, right? With matters of the family and the people that we love and cherish. And I feel like there's been this massive investment, but there's something going on. There's something brewing and it's building inside of you. And this building is only going to intensify as we enter into this full moon on January 10th. It is in the sign of Cancer. It is that emotional watery sign. It is the activation of the solar plexus and the sacral for you guys. I really, really feel it strongly in the solar plexus. And I feel like this is really going to be like your breaking point with whatever is building in the first part of January, right? So even towards the end of December, I felt this energy for you guys, but I really feel it's just going to keep brewing and brewing and brewing. And it's this build up to this rebirthing, but you're very attached. And so it begins to get thicker and thicker because you've invested so much energy and time into this relationship. And remember, this can be a relationship with self, right? And also relationships with another, because often our family and the people that we love, our significant others, are mirrors for the deepest, darkest parts of ourselves that we are not willing to consciously see. So they are reflected back to us in relationships. But as you come through this full moon, right, which is also a lunar eclipse, it's an ending of something. It's an ending of a cycle. And I really feel that for you. I feel like there's this ending. But I also feel like there is some manipulation or something hiding behind the curtain, something not being revealed to you. So I almost feel, and so I'm seeing this in a dualistic perspective, which is kind of unusual. I'm seeing this as, for some people, it's things that you are hiding from yourself, right? I feel like for some people, these are things that you are purposely drawing that curtain back and saying, nope, we're just not going to pay attention to this. We're just going to compartmentalize this and separate it and push it over here. And for others, and that's out of fear, by the way, it's all out of fear. All of this is out of fear. And for some of you, there is somebody or some energy that is influencing the situation that is really making it, it's almost like, gosh, this is so strange. I almost feel like they're a puppet behind the curtain, like controlling these things. So be careful of the people that you associate yourself with and really be in tune with that internal guidance, because I really feel my solar plexus activate when I say this, that you have the power and you know what's happening. Like for some of you, I feel like you just know inside of you something's not right here, but you ignore it because, again, we come back to that attachment, that you are invested in this, right? So you almost detach emotionally and compartmentalize that emotion because you don't want to feel it. You don't want to dive into it. Because you are really, oh gosh, it's almost like you're idealizing this happy family. And so there's a lot of mending that is going to take place in this corridor between the full moon and the new moon. It's going to be this energy, this opportunity for you to mend, to reclaim, to rebalance, to come into union with these parts and pieces of yourself and these other relationships. So this is about ownership, and this is about anchoring back into yourself and using your boundaries and saying, this is not acceptable. I am a being of love, and I have infinite possibilities and opportunities in front of me. I am starting a brand new journey, because all of you, I feel you are really entering into this brand new journey with yourself. However that's going to look like for you, right? So it could be a job, it could be a move, it could be a new relationship, it could be a recommitment to yourself, it could be all of it. But I really feel that you have invested all of this, right? And so as you're coming in, there's some mending that has to happen. So I feel like for some of you, it's almost in a feeling of loss or grief, because there is an ending here. And for some, it's going to be an ending of a pattern. For some, it's going to be ending of a relationship, or there is a big ending coming in the middle of the month for you. And there's going to be some mending that needs to take place. Now, please don't read this as in, it's going to show up differently for each of you. Sometimes that ending is just the way that we see it. It's just the way that we respond to it. So the ending can be a belief, it can be a relationship, it can be a pattern, it can be a job, it can be really pretty much anything, right? Because in the ending, we begin anew. We have something new creating, right? Because every ending is a creation of something new, a new beginning. So they're one and the same. And I really feel like in this very short window of time, in like a matter of a 10 or 15 day span, there's this big upheaval that happens, and it's like an abrupt ending. And then it's like, okay, I've decided no more. I'm done. Hasta la vista, baby. It's all over with. Now we need to get into the mending of the heart, because there's going to be loss. There's going to be grief. There's going to be anger. There's going to be that feeling of emptiness and lack, because you've entered into the void. You've entered into the space of creation and rebalancing. For you guys, I feel like this is major rebalancing that's about to happen. So as we're coming into that new moon on January 23rd, by the way, 1, 2, 3, right? It's in Aquarius, which is a fellow air sign. It's really going to be felt in your bones and your teeth and your hair, skin, and nails. It's going to be clearing that program that you just said, no, I'm done. It's over with, right? Whatever that was for you, that ending, it's going to be purging from you over that new moon, which is a little different for us, because new moon is about going within. It's not activating energy, but it's usually not too much of purging. It's more of planting. But for you guys, I really feel that this purging is going to be taking place leading up to this new moon. And as you enter into that new moon, it's your opportunity to tap into your internal resources. It's an opportunity for you guys to do a little bit of rebalancing of the scales of the energies, really coming into an aligned, peaceful space. Okay. And in doing so, we reconnect with those parts and pieces of ourselves that we have given away, the power that we have given away. We realign with those we are wanting to invest our energy in. We are realigning with the parts of ourselves that we want to invest more in. So there is this reconnection, this rekindling that happens towards the end of the month, but it's from a whole new energy. And for some, it's going to be a whole new person, or a whole new job, or a whole new opportunity or possibility coming for you, right? But there's this rebalancing that happens and this new energy entering. And it is a divine masculine energy. It is a divine masculine energy. And it feels very, okay, I'm going to get up and I'm going to take action now, but from a space of empowerment, right? And it's almost like that opening, shine this light in that solar plexus, allowing everything to open. So we're not locked up in our head. We're not trapped in our heart. We're not speaking our truth. We're allowing this energy to rise and for this new to come through. And I see it as this Taurus, right? However, which way you see it, it's continuously moving and rebalancing from that solar plexus up. And it's reconnecting, rekindling, bringing in those new energies, those new possibilities, opportunities, or even mending those relationships, right? Where we had just had to make this major shift in the way that we interacted and communicated. Because a lot of this has to do with communication. When we get emotionally invested in things, we can have that miscommunication because emotional intelligence is a real thing, right? When you have emotional intelligence, you understand at an emotional level what somebody is experiencing in their reality, and you can understand them at a soul level. And so if that person's not in tune with that energy, there's going to be a big miscommunication happening, right? It's almost like an awakened person with someone who's asleep. There's this huge dip, right? And it's like you're trying to bring them up and you're not lower yourself. And so there's this weird back and forth happening, right? So I feel like that's for some of you too, which I hope that makes sense to you. That was kind of a strange analogy. All right, so I'm going to pull a couple of cards. They're usually validation. Sometimes it's new information or just some bonus material. But before I do, I'd like to invite you guys to my free workshop on January 2nd. And this is about seeing clearly in 2020. It is about seeing with your whole self and creating the reality that you are desiring. And this is going to be happening, like I said, January 2nd in my new Facebook group, The Soul Evolution. And if you're watching this after January 2nd, that is no big deal. Click that description box below, join my new Facebook community, and check out the replay because it's going to be amazing. And it's going to be super enlightening for you. So that is my invitation to you for us to start our journey together in a more intimate setting for 2020. All right. So for Libra, January 2020, Spirit, please, any additional messages or confirmation that you would like to share with us today? I'm going to pull 3 cards. All right. It's time. All right. Okay, so the first one is Druid, hold the space. Gosh, he's come up for other cards. And this card is really about the journey as well. For me, this symbolizes someone the age, right? It's someone who's been on their journey for a minute, right? They've been going through it. They've been making the choices. They've been making the compromises. They've been persevering. They've been taking the action. And here they are. And they have their walking stick. They're on the journey. They're ready, and they're taking those small right actions. And his walking stick is illuminated, right? So he has the light. He is the light. He has that, right? And he's patient, and he's taking his time. He's holding that space. He's allowing for himself to be patient and compassionate with himself as he journeys. And this is wonderful energy to start in, even though you're having that miscommunication, right? There is that inner conflict or outer conflict happening in your reality at the beginning of the month. They're telling you, hold the space. You've been doing this. You can do this. Hold the space for yourself. Have compassion for yourself. Slow down, breathe, spread it out. Allow yourself to see clearly what's happening here. The next one is the stargazers. Set your sights higher. So again, remember in that corridor, in that middle of the month, right? There's some type of deceit or manipulation or something being hidden from you, right? Or something that's outside of you that is influencing the situation that you are in, right? And you have this inclination, this desire from you being so invested in your own journey, right? And so you're laser focused on this desire you have, right? To have this peaceful, happy rainbow-esque life that you thought you were entering into. And it's telling you to set your sights higher, to broaden your horizons, to pull back and see everything. So he's not, right? He's got the telescope, but he's holding it. He's not laser focused on one star. He's taking it all in. He's stargazing. He's taking everything in. He's taking all the parts and pieces of it. He's really expanding his awareness so he can see what needs to go and what needs to shift and what needs to be brought in. He's entering into the darkness, into the void, into that space of infinite potential and possibilities. When you look up at the stars, that is infinite possibilities. You have no idea. You're only scratching the surface of what you could possibly see. And that's what they're wanting you to do. The last one is Spirit Fox, trust your talents in changing times. So this is about that rebalancing, that re-anchoring back into you and your journey, right? This is about you reconnecting with the lost parts and pieces of yourself and leading from that sovereign, empowered space and not letting yourself be influenced from fear or from manipulation or from outside judgment or influence, right? It's almost like, it's like when you don't take action because you're afraid of what people will say or because you're afraid to hurt someone's feelings, right? I love this because you see he's got this little sun symbol right there on his chest. This, for me, that sun symbol is that infinite connection, that solar plexus, that empowerment. He's empowered, right? He is trusting himself and who he is in these ever-changing times and knows that everything is going to work itself out. It's going to be okay. I will be back in the middle of the month for your mid-month bump. It will be, you will want to keep your eye out for the Air Signs Collective reading for the mid-month bump and see how, if anything has shifted or changed for you throughout this journey. Because again, right, we are going through big energies. In 2020, this is going to be a common thing. We have huge energies. This year is really about that liberation and reconnection to self and our community and tribes and the way that we be the change that we are wanting to see in our reality and in ourself, right? This year is all about that connection to those patterns and the things that we do as a human. You know what I mean? It's really about, it's the four energy, right? So it's those ancestral patterns. It's our strength and sovereignty within ourselves. And so this whole year is going to be big energies. And so it's really important for you to harness these energies and allow them to help you stay in that flow. Okay. So I love you guys. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Namaste.